Welcome to Ellie Goldsmith's Relationship Flow podcast. We are excited this new week to have Teeny Pops 613 back joining us, aka Masha Goldsmith, aka Soulmate Inspired, with us today. Say hello.
Hello.
We're wishing everyone a beautiful new week. It's a new week in the apparently autumn, borderline winter months.
There's no winter here.
It's lovely weather outside, which is interesting. I mean, I'm enjoying it, but at the same time, wondering what happened to the winter weather.
Want to wear winter clothes already?
Oh, you do? I'm happy to stay pretty neutral right now, in the middle somewhere.
I like winter clothes.
Yes. Okay. Good. Fashion is definitely a good reason for the weather change. I'm sure all the shops out there agree with that. What's been going on? I was away for a few weeks. How did you cope? And now I'm planning on another trip to the UK and some roadie style work with Nissan Black in Manchester and London during Hanukkah. What's your feelings about this last time period?
What are you talking about? The last time period or the time period coming ahead?
Both, before and after, because it's continuation, I suppose. Maybe not as intense, the one approaching, because it's only to UK and it's for different reasons, but, what would you say? How'd you feel about it? All the travelling? Because we didn't travel for 2 years almost.
Yeah.
And you haven't left the country for 2 years.
It's just getting used to a new reality. I definitely need more self-care from it, that's for sure. That's what I realised.
So, getting you perfume and things like that is part of the self-care.
I need to make sure that if I'm running everything by myself and, have to, and also emotionally, deal with a lot of different things, and even just the separation anxiety and all that. I see that now, what I learned from the time it just went away now, for the next time, which is coming up in a few weeks.
But it's not Shabbos, it's just during the week trips.
Well, right, it was...
That's easier.
I miss you at night, but still, forget about the missing you part when I'm kind of running everything, and I'm not even talking about physically, making sure everything's functioning on physical level in the home with the kids, but also emotionally, because I'm very in tune emotionally with my kids, and each one of them has their own people, and that affects me a lot, everyone's well-being and stuff, and my own. So I realize that I do need to make sure that I give myself a bit of time out for myself and a bit of self-care for the next time you go away. Work out how to put that into my day, even if I just go to my room for 5 minutes and close the door and just kind of breathe, and I don't know.
Well, interesting that you brought this up, or we brought this up, because this is a mutual podcast, that we are together on this point, because coming this week I have my United Souls course, and it's moving to the third episode, third series. It's actually second series, but third stage of our sort of 10 habits of truly effective or truly focused lifestyle that we're working on together. And we built that course, and it's been very helpful with the people joining, and it's, thank God, more people are signing up. The point is that over there, and how it relates to what you just mentioned, is bringing a lot of the ideas that we discuss in, say, United Flows podcast, and here Relationship Flow podcast, and all the other podcasts I do, the Muna podcast, that bringing that into our daily life, that is the real challenge, how it actually affects our schedule, all the ideas that we've discussed on these previous episodes, and how to bring it practically into our time frame that we actually apply it, and it effectively improves our quality of life and makes us more fulfilled and happy.
Yeah, I also think for me especially, is because I always want to be available emotionally for our kids, and even physically and all that. Sometimes you can't be available for people all the time, and I think I've recently made myself kind of on call 24/7 for everybody.
Which even when I wasn't here, you were still on some level.
Which might be a good quality that I...
Because even I was like phoning you at like 2, 3 in the morning here.
I'm like a nurturing person.
And you'd answer the phone.
Yeah.
You obviously, like, I knew I could phone you whenever and you'd wake up and
Everyone
you
knows
sleep
that
light.
I do sleep because so I think just for myself, I learned that I have to have some boundaries for myself, that it's okay that I can't be available all the time. Sometimes I'm going to have to say I'm not available, and there's actually it's okay for people to figure things out by themselves, because that's teaching them to be better adults, and even the adults who already are adults, teaching them to be better adults as well.
Yeah, being more independent is definitely something like we talked about in our course and on this podcast. Becoming interdependent is the goal, where each person is doing their own independent process of self-work, and then they can join together in a mutually positive way rather than becoming codependent, which is the opposite. We're trying to really work hard not becoming like that. And in terms of the keeping boundaries with people, like one of the
boundaries for yourself, I mean.
Yeah, for yourself, but also like I think the phone is a big challenge. Like
I don't have that challenge.
Yeah, I mean you have yours on, so I could phone you 2, 3 in the morning. Like I turned mine on to airplane mode at a certain point.
That's true.
And you did say that you'd like me to do like 10 minutes a day during our family time.
Yeah.
So that I can, I mean, some people do a whole hour, some people put their phones
being
away
realistic.
for the whole night.
I'm being realistic.
People do different things, like some of the people I work with even, they're almost impossible to get hold of at night because they put their family first, even though there's like so much going on.
I'm just being realistic and asking for 10 minutes.
10 minutes is
of your phone packed away. That
very, very fair amount of time to ask for.
Be in the present moment together.
Maybe
for
too
10
little,
minutes.
but I think you're right.
I don't ask for much in my life.
Yeah, and I think that maybe you can ask for a bit more, but the point is that the boundaries and turning off the phone, turning off the ability to access, like one of the things we've done in our room, which has been really powerful, is to get a good lock put on our bedroom door and close it at a certain time. Like it's not always fixed, like tonight we were a bit more open, we had a door open to like just now, which is 10:30, so people were able to come in if they wanted. Kids basically.
But they don't sleep in our room.
But we don't let in-laws in or anything like that. Like, I was in my course, one of the people mentioned that their in-laws were coming in, and not so long down the road they ended up getting divorced. Having like certain boundaries, broken by people. Yeah. Like they were very honest about that, and I think that can be a really damaging part to relationships when you let people who are not healthy into your private space, but say your children who should be available into your private space.
For example,
but even that has
on
boundaries.
Shabbos morning, I love it when their kids can come and we can be snuggly and
we did that tonight.
Every night we have snuggles. But since our oldest has been little, we've always slept with our bedroom door locked. If they have a bad, scary dream or they're not feeling well, they can knock on the door. But
they won't be able to phone me because my phone will be off.
But they knock on the door, but they know that I'm always there. But they also know that we're teaching them that parents are also allowed to have their own time.
Yeah.
That's ours, like sacred time together. We chill, whatever we need to do. We connect, and I think that gives them security, because then they see how important we are to each other and how much we love each other.
I agree. I just want to say something that inspired me, to want to do the podcast, is seeing other influencers, other people out there doing positive things. We watched this podcast, if you don't mind me saying publicly, we watched this YouTube channel, couple called Cara and Nate. And the way we actually came across them was because they came to visit Israel, and they did an episode on Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, and I was quite like, wow, they seemed like really nice people there. The way they approached Israel was positive, and they experienced the Shabbat in Tel Aviv, things like that. Plus they went to all the different religious sites, being that they're not Jewish, but they were very like open-minded, and we just suddenly got like impressed by them. And bit by bit we've been watching them over the last few years, and they've even got like awards now of being like influential couple, and they're online, and they're being very successful. But it's not like going to their head. You can see it's like very positive process. So one of the things, like, when you see this kind of stuff, like, you get inspired, like maybe we can, on our level, share our message. We're not doing like big video shoots and or traveling around in all kind of exotic or amazingly beautiful locations, so it's not visually got that power to it. We always add a picture, but the point is that as a couple, I feel like our inner world is very important for what we need to give over to people. Like, everyone has their talent, they're very visually good looking, out there people, whereas I feel like the inner message is just as important, and they're not going to really go into that as much in their flow and their YouTube channel. Whereas on our podcast, I feel like the inner journey is something which people can really gain from. And that's one of the reasons why I would not be consistent and at least posting this once a week and having you share it.
You still look very nice.
Thank you. I think you do too. I think as a couple, visually, we do have still a lot to offer. We're not like, past, as what do they call it? What's the phrase? When I like kick the bucket or whatever the word is. We're not like, thank God.
We still think we're younger than what we are.
Yeah, like some of these monster influencers out there that get really old and they look just distorted, and it's hard to look at them when they get to that point. Not that old people have to get that way, but they start playing around with their body and doing weird stuff instead of just naturally aging gracefully. Exactly. Which right now, we're in our early 40s. We've definitely got an opportunity now to share a lot of experiences and internalization.
Definitely gone on a journey.
Yeah, being that within 2-3 weeks we'll be celebrating, just before I go to London again, or actually Manchester first, we'll be celebrating our 20th anniversary, which is a big deal.
Of being married.
But
we've known each other for much longer.
Yeah, for sure. We've known each other since, we first met when we were 14. I had the whole story. I think we put it up here one time. You can check it out for sure. Just look up Eddie Goldsmith's marriage story or soulmate story, something like that. I'm sure it's online. Funny enough, someone came up to me today at a kiddish and said, "Oh, you're the guy whose family put on Queen in Wembley." And I'm like, "What, the Live Aid?" Yeah, you're that guy whose like family did that. I said, "Yeah, I was there." And it's just funny, like, people knowing me online a little bit through these different things. And it's just nice to now bring the relationship side, because I feel for this generation, it's not just about the big rock shows and, being like some big celebrity on Hollywood and all that stuff. That's all been like in the past, in my opinion. Now it's more about what we can do from an inner place, how we can come to a more inner development, and that will shine forth much more content and inspiration than, just a big performance or something. So that's where we're at. We're on the relationship flow, and we want you guys to like weekly join us and share. And I hope my wife, my soulmate, will be here weekly as well. This was a special, appearance. I just want to ask one more question, like on the point you brought up about self-care. Is there anything like you felt like has been really helpful in the last few years on that side of things, self-care, that you've actually managed to implement, if not daily, at least once a week?
For sure, having time alone with myself. Me time is very important. Just for me, it's more understanding. There's all different levels of self-care. There's emotional, there's spiritual, there's physical. So I don't know which part you mean.
You can decide.
But I think there's all different levels. But something that is very important is, life is intense, and sometimes, a lot of the time, there's so much going on, and if you have the self-aware to understand who you are and know what triggers you or different things, then I think that is very important of self-care, knowing when you need to have that 5-minute break, or if you have a lot going on and it's like that kind of back-to-back.
So it's similar to like regrouping, which we talked about.
Yeah, for me that's the.
But you're talking about on an inner level for you.
I guess that's the most important.
Not just
self-care.
as a couple.
Knowing before you freak out, in whatever way it is. Doesn't mean you're freaking out towards someone else, but just feeling totally like overwhelmed. Just like knowing that you just need to give yourself that space.
Yeah, and I think that I relate to that. Like, I've been doing a bit more of that myself, and also reminding myself again and again that this time will pass. It's not this desperate feeling or this triggered moment is not going to stay with me always. Like, I've been feeling a bit crazy last few weeks for different reasons, and those feelings have passed because either they've been processed successfully or they've manifested in physical pain, which then I had to once again face again. Or, like, thank God we have a good relationship where we can talk it out, or being in a, the course situation where we discuss things that helps, or the Zula, or the other different parts of my life where we connect with people, or just being busy and not getting consumed by the craziness that's going on around and around.
I think also that, like, the to-do list is always going to be endless. So just sometimes just knowing when, okay, no, it's okay. I'm stopping here, and I'm gonna go do something for myself. Go shopping.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be something major. To, spend all your money. You can do things small.
Yeah.
Just use your imagination.
Well, one of the things I'd want to discuss maybe in a future episode, doesn't have to be next week, but I think I'd like to hear from people what they think about this, but the late nights when you're not able to sleep, what to do then? You're like having a freak out, like how do you self-care then to get yourself into a sleep state? So there's all different tools as a relationship, maybe we'll discuss it. But I'd just like to hear back from people, once again, the emails are going to be below in the description. You can join the course. It will be in the description, but I want to hear from you guys. What do you think would be a successful tool to help as a relationship have an easier night's sleep, to get that self-care as a relationship, that regrouping, that you can go to sleep in a more relaxed, calm way than the way you're feeling about life at that moment initially. Yeah?
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, that would be something helpful. I'd like to hear from other people about that also. Something I'm always struggled with. I'm known as a Midnightrabbi. That was actually one of the reasons I was out on the streets all night, because I just had sleep trouble. So instead of just lying there being tortured, not sleeping, I went out and got involved with kids on the streets, and that kept me focused at those late hours instead of just lying here like not sleeping. Definitely with the phone off is a big success. That's not going to help me go to sleep. So try to keep that away from me and just lie here and pray a lot.
I have a notebook next to my bed, and I write things down that come to my head.
Okay, well, we'll get into it. We've got, thank God, plenty more episodes to come. Thanks for joining us. I think we'll call this self-care episode, Relationship Flow. You share yours, we're sharing ours. It makes the world a better place, especially our relationships is the key to a lot of the world's current challenges and issues. Bring up children, bring up families. Being successful, happy, fulfilled people, relationship is a big foundation stone in everything we're doing. And looking forward to hear from yours. All the best.